For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Predator Killer of Killers has finally released, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the first movie in so long where the movie released and I did not know the release date. I cannot believe, I thought that this movie was coming out like end of June maybe. I did not know that it was out today. I could not freaking believe it. And of course, I watched it immediately and oh my god. I'm gonna say this now. There are gonna be spoilers. This is a spoiler filled review. So you've been warned. And now, finally, I can just say this movie was so freaking cool. This was awesome, dude. This was sick. So, just a recap of how I feel about the Predator movies. If you want a more in-depth review of each of the movies in this franchise, go check out my ranking every movie I watched in 2024 video. I know it's like 4 hours, but whatever. There's the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise. So yeah, you can get my in-depth thoughts on the movies there. But just the Predator franchise, the first Predator, love it. Absolutely fantastic. Predator 2, I liked it, not as much as the first one, but definitely an underrated movie in this franchise. Predators, I really, really loved. I loved Predators so much. And then The Predator. But of course, I was excited for 2025 because we are getting 2 Predator movies. We have this animated one, Predator Killer of Killers, and then in November, we will have Predator Badlands. And oh man, that's gonna be awesome. So I went into this movie just expecting it to be an anthology film because the only thing I knew about it, I watched the trailer when it first came out, but the only thing I knew about it was that it was going to follow different predators through different periods of time, fighting different warriors. You know, a samurai, World War II, possibly, and Vikings. That's right, the Norse warriors. And one thing that immediately got me jumping out of my seat was the opening quote unquote credit. Because, well, it wasn't a credit, but it was a message from the predator species, basically saying, you know, travel to the darkest corners of the universe, kill the most fierce warriors, and become the killer of killers. But it's what it said below that which really just blew my mind. And that is, this is the first time, I believe, in the film franchise, or like the film part of the franchise, that they actually refer to the species as Yautjas. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was in a comic. I'm not really, well versed at all when it comes to Predator outside of the movies. But I believe it was in a comic where they refer to themselves as Yautjas. This is the first time in a movie that they call themselves that. And man, I was so freaking happy. So there's 3 main stories going on here. There's the Norse, the Norse warriors, who the first people we follow. The main character is Ursa, I believe, and they pull a fast one on us because they do the complete opposite of what we thought. We thought that she was going to die and we were going to follow the sun, but nope. The son dies, and she kills the predator in such an awesome way because this predator, of course, the predators are basically adapted by the writers to, you know, be a somewhat equal match for the people they're gonna fight. Because like if you take the predator from like the first Predator film and chuck it in Prey, then that's just unfair. And this predator seems to have some sort of device that creates like a sound wave, or it's like a sonic blast, and it's pretty awesome. And it creates for some gory scenes, man. This movie is bloody and it is gory as hell, and I absolutely love it for that. I love gore in animated films. But yeah, basically, we're following Ursa. She goes to kill the guy that essentially made her kill her father. And they go under the ice. And I love that when she's under the ice, the predator can't see her, obviously, because, heat vision. And the way that she fights the predator using its device, using the chain of the anchor, was just fantastic. And then obviously, sort of sending the blast back on him and him getting like speared through the back of the mouth with the anchor. That was so freaking awesome. So that sequence was awesome. Then we move on to what I think most people will agree was probably the best one, and that was the samurai story, where it was two brothers being forced to fight each other, and then like 20 years later, this brother that lost the fight basically went and just killed all all the freaking samurais in that palace, and then obviously the predator shows up, and this is probably my favorite predator from the movie, maybe second favorite. Now, sue me if you want, but to me, this looked like it looked a lot like the Alpha Predator from Predator 2, or even that weird looking one from Alien vs Predator. It was just the spikes along the face. It really did look like that, to be honest with you. But yeah, the way that they defeat this predator, I thought was just so freaking awesome. The way that they use the explosive device against it, and it goes against the tree, and it's invisible. But then they do the classic samurai thing of they just run. You hear the slice, and I love how they showed the blood running down the swords, and the predator just pops. It just falls to pieces. That's so cool. And the brother dies, and they have a great callback to the beginning of the sequence, of when they say when leaves grow, they grow together, but when they fall alone. And the brother says, "But you're not alone, my brother." I was like, that is such good writing. I love that. That is so good. So yeah, the samurai sequence had probably the best directing, I think. Even though the Norse sequence did have a beautiful one take. That was fantastic when they first stormed the village. But I don't know. I think it's just because the samurai sequence involved a lot of jumping on roofs, hiding from the predator. That was just awesome. This predator was the closest to the predators that we know. It's like closest to the original predator, if that makes sense. Then we get the plane sequence. Now. This is the first time that we have seen an aerial battle with the Predator. The Predator does not count. That is not an aerial battle. Look, this story wasn't bad, but it was definitely the weakest of the three. But yeah, this is essentially following a pilot. His name is Torres, and the Predator is in his ship, and he is going to absolutely decimate the fleet of soldiers that are in the air. And this guy obviously goes up to try and save them. And this man is fixing a plane while he's in the air and while the engine, like the one turbine, is on fire. Well, not turbine, whatever it was back in those days. The thing on the wing is on fire. And this predator really did look like a mad scientist. He had like a thing over his one eye. But yeah. When that whole thing ended, because I believe the ship blew up, he like flew near the enemy, which I thought was great. He flew near the enemy's ships, and they essentially fired upon him, but hit the predator ship, and the ship blew up. And then it cuts to some time after that, and you see those 3 dots on his chest, and I'm like, nah, you're joking. What the hell is this? But then it cuts to the present day, which is what we've sort of been interconnecting to throughout the stories. Is like you show the story of one person, and then it'll show one more person in the background, and then it shows the story of that person, and it shows another person in the foreground. It's like, damn, man. And this is where I'll admit it's unexpected, definitely, but there were some things here that I found a little bit goofy. The predators basically take these 3 people and they want them to fight each other. And this is where we get introduced to who is probably my favorite predator of the movie, and that is the boss predator. And this dude is so fucking awesome. This man has a cape made out of spines. That is so freaking cool. Oh my god. That is just so awesome. And yeah, essentially he's saying there will be one survivor become the killer of killers, and they have this audience of predators, which this is where I found that a bit goofy that they like creating just a show, like that. Maybe you guys let me know your opinions on that, but they bring out this weird giant beast. Now, I am not entirely against this now, because if you showed me that before the trailer of Predator Badlands came out, I would have hated this. But we're not exactly, this isn't, the only giant creature in the Predator franchise, because while it's not out yet, in Predator Badlands, there is going to be a bigger creature that Deck needs to fight. And we haven't seen it properly yet. We've just seen tiny glimpses of it, but there is going to be a giant creature that he needs to battle. And they are each given a weapon of their time, basically. And it's basically their weapons. Ursa gets the axe, or was it a shield? No, she gets a shield. She gets an axe. But basically, she gets those. The samurai dude gets the sword, of course. He gets a katana. And Torres gets a gun. Now, the gun does not have the bullets loaded in it, but when he takes a look at the gun, as soon as he held it up, I was like, that looks like the gun from... And then as soon as he looks at it and the camera focuses on 1715, I jumped and I was like, no freaking way, it's the same gun from Predator 2. Now, I'm usually not that good at remembering details like that all the way back to the first or second movie of franchises, but that is just such an iconic scene from Predator 2 where Danny Glover kills one of the predators, basically kills him, and the elder predator gives him the gun. And he's like, 1715? That is so freaking awesome that it's the same damn gun. But yeah, they fight each other, and I love the language barriers. Obviously, you have a Japanese person, you have someone from Norse, you have a Norse freaking warrior, and then you have an English speaker. I love that because it did create for some little conflicted moments, but essentially, they kill the giant thing, and they want to go and kill the boss predator. And it doesn't go very well, let's just say. Sorry, they don't want to kill the boss predator. They want to get to the ship and escape. And the Japanese guy loses the arm. He loses an arm. And I loved the battle that they all had with the boss predator, because that was just so awesome. Because no matter how many stabs this dude took, he was still standing, I loved that. And I love the sequence of him slowly extending his blade towards their eyes. Oh my god. But man, they get on the ship, and as I said, the Japanese guy loses an arm, and the predator basically fires a giant spear, which prevents them from flying, and Ursa sacrifices herself. And I love that they call back to the beginning of the movie where she was telling, I believe his name was Anders, something like that. Basically, her son, if I fall tonight, avenge me. And now, obviously, she's going to sacrifice herself, and she says, don't avenge me. I love that. That was really, really good. And she lets them escape. She helps them escape. And then the predator, as soon as she did that and she carried on fighting, I was like, there's no way the predator is going to kill her, right? The predators still have respect for their foes. And lo and behold, she does not get killed. She is, cryogenically frozen. And then they are walking past a bunch of other warriors. Now, there was one which I didn't know what it was. It looked like a really lanky monster. It honestly kind of looked like the Mind Flayer from Stranger Things Season 3. But I don't know what it was. But there was one that, of course, I knew what it was. And oh my god, the possibilities, baby. We find out that the Predator Society has captured Naru from Prey. Oh my god. What the hell? Dude, that is awesome. So she's here. Ursa is here. That only leaves one possibility. He has not been seen the entire franchise. None of the Predator movies, none of the Alien vs. Predator movies. Come on. They gotta have Dutch here. They surely captured Dutch. My god. Could you imagine those three fighting each other? Ursa, Naru, and Dutch. Oh my god. That would just be so cool. Having all of the main characters from the Predator movies, face off against each other and eventually team up. That would be so cool. But there's that. But there is obviously one anomaly, and that is Predators. Because Predators, the main guy, I forgot his name, Adrian Brody's character, he and that other woman, they are on this other planet. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. They're just sort of stuck there, I guess. But yeah, no, that scene blew my mind because again, going into this, I thought that it was an anthology, but seeing the gun, seeing that they captured Naru, I was like, no way, that is so awesome. This movie just had everything. It had references to the franchise. It had, it expanded the lore of the franchise. It was gory. It had some good writing. The characters were really good. It was just awesome. The animation, of course, was stunning. It was really, really beautiful. I've seen a lot of people say that it looks like a water painting, and I could 100% see that. My only little nitpicks are obviously like the some things in the third act are a little bit goofy. Mainly just the Predators putting on a show. That's the only thing that I find a little bit odd. And the ending I feel is a little bit abrupt. I feel like we should have at least spent maybe a minute or something with the characters on the ship. But yeah, because as soon as Ursa gets off the ship, they just fly off, and the Predator is like, go find them. And literally all these ships go after them. There's no way they survive. How does Danny Glover get the freaking gun? So yeah, overall, I honestly don't know between this and Thunderbolts which is my favorite movie of 2025. It is very close, and right now it is Predator Killer of Killers just because this movie was so fucking badass. Thunderbolts is really good, don't get me wrong, but oh man, this movie was just awesome, dude. This was so good. So yeah, I love this movie. I think it was fantastic. The Predator franchise, apart from The Predator, is still, it's an amazing, it is a very good franchise because Predator is great. Predator 2 is good. Predators is great. And, Prey is fantastic. This movie is amazing. Like, I have no hope of Badlands being bad. I know it's going to be good. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts on Predator Killer of Killers. Just let me know everything that you think about this movie. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? What do you think this means for the future of the franchise? And do you think that this movie will get a sequel? Or will it be yet another Predator movie which has an ending setting something up but is left untouched for the rest of human history? Anything and everything, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.